Here's a reality that I learned several years ago, and I'm not even gonna lie. It's a tough reality to live with, um, but it's a reality, and it's that as a CEO, most of the decisions that we have to make, you're gonna have less than 40% of the information you should have in order to make the decision. Yeah, that sucks. It means we're flying blind a ton. It means we're flying blind an awful ton. But that leads me directly into principle number 5 of being resilient. Now, we've been talking about resilience for the last few weeks, and we've gone through the first 4 principles already. And today we're hitting principle number 5, and that is trust your instinct and don't overthink. Trust your gut and don't overthink. In the last 18 months, I've talked about my weight loss journey, but in there too has been a massive health journey of understanding this frame and this body and how it actually works, right? And what's good for it, what's not good for it. And about 18 months ago, I learned this. And this was one of those random things. It was a random article that Google suggested to me that I read. And it talked about, and I've since proven it was correct. It talked about that when we were formed, you and I, as humans, in our mothers, right? Those first cells that were created and they started to expand. Those cells that were all there, they started to separate. Now they were all the same, and they started to separate. And they separated, and one set became the brain, and the other, your digestive system, your gut. And so your brain and your gut are actually made from the same type of cells, and they're connected by the vagus nerve. Brain, gut, connected by the vagus nerve. And so it got me to doing a lot of research into the fact that, you know that thing called the gut feeling? Yeah, because you have more brain cells in your gut than you have in your brain. And so yes, your gut actually does think. You got more brain cells in your gut than you do in your brain. That's where our instinct comes from. You see, instinct is one of those interesting things because we would define it as a feeling, right? Like I know it in my gut. But what it really is a reality of all of our past experiences and knowledge, along with the future projection of what could be, coming together and saying, this is the path to take. But we don't trust it. And we don't trust it because it isn't logical. It's also not emotional, but it isn't logical because we can't logically define it because we didn't logically think of it. We felt it, but it wasn't emotional. And so it puts us in this weird flux state and place where it's like, well, what is it? Is it real? Is it not real? I don't know is what I'm feeling really real because I can't logically think through it. It doesn't logically make sense because your gut remembers and knows everything that you've been through, and it pulls all of that experience together. Now, if you talk to the quantum physicists, they'll also then tell you that, in the quantum verses, 5D dimension, then you've got other beings that are talking to you in your gut, and you have the entire consciousness of human history in your gut as well, and all of that leads to instinct. Wherever you fall on that, whatever you believe in that, the reality is what's happening in your gut is memory and understanding that your brain has either forgotten or doesn't actually understand. And so when we sit and we're thinking about how we logically think through things, and logically this makes sense, but my gut is saying something different. I'm feeling something different in my gut. Yeah, you are. It isn't an emotion. It isn't an emotion. But it is your brain thinking. It may not be logic that you can understand, but it is logical. It is based in logic. You just don't understand it. Now, does that mean your gut is always right? Hell no. How often is your brain wrong? All the time. All the time. But here's the deal. And we talked about this in principle number 2, in creating opportunities. The thing that we can't do is stand still. The thing that we can't do is stand still. And that's exactly what overthinking does to us. And so we've got to learn to trust our instinct. Doesn't mean it's always right, but it always means it will move us forward. It means we may fail sometimes, but guess what? If we stopped and thought, we would have failed anyway. But we were moving, and in that movement, in that failure, we learned. We learned we can get better, we could do it better. And we trust our gut, and sometimes it will work out too. But we've got to trust our instincts. You're a CEO of a company. Most of your decisions, you're not going to have enough information to make the call. So what are you going to have to do? Trust your instinct anyway. Because you can't sit and wait for the information all the time. So you gotta learn to trust your instinct. Good, bad, or indifferent. And every situation that you go through, your instinct gets better. It gets better. It gets better. It goes back, all the way back to principle number 1, embrace chosen suffering. Now, I'm not saying embracing chosen suffering in this case of, oh my gosh, I'm going to trust my instinct and I know it's wrong and I'm going to do the wrong thing so I can fail. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying by trusting your instincts, you're embracing the possibility that there might be failure and that will lead to learning. Instead of sitting by and waiting for everything to be perfect, for all the information to make the absolute perfect decision, because that, as you and I both well know, will never, ever happen. So, trust your guts, my friend. Trust your instincts and watch things start to change.